What if a single choice could change the fate of the wizarding world? Imagine Severus Snape standing at a crossroads, the weight of a prophecy on his shoulders. In one hand, loyalty to Voldemort. In the other, his love for Lily Potter. The decision he makes in this moment will alter the course of history. But what if he chose differently? Snape's mind raced as he absorbed the words he had overheard. The prophecy spoke of someone who could defeat the Dark Lord. His first instinct was to tell Voldemort immediately, but something held him back. Thoughts of Lily flooded his mind, her kind smile, her vibrant eyes. Could he really put her in danger? His heart pounded as he approached Voldemort's hideout. With each step, doubt grew stronger. Snape's hand trembled as he reached for the door. At the last second, he pulled away. The weight of his choice settled on him as he turned and walked into the night, the prophecy's secret safe within him. What would this mean for the future of the wizarding world? Snape's decision to keep the prophecy secret set in motion a series of events that would reshape the wizarding world. In this new reality, the Potter's home in Godric's Hollow remained untouched by tragedy. Instead of ruins, it stood as a warm and welcoming haven for a family that was never torn apart. James and Lily Potter lived to see their son grow, their love for each other and their child evident in every moment. Harry's childhood was filled with the simple joys of family life, his father's laughter as they played Quidditch in the backyard, his mother's patient guidance as she taught him his first spells. The boy who grew up in this loving environment was markedly different from the orphan we once knew. This Harry Potter didn't carry the weight of being the boy who lived. His emerald eyes, so like his mother's, sparkled with confidence and curiosity, rather than the haunted look of a child who had faced too much, too soon. His friendships at Hogwarts formed naturally, based on shared interests and genuine connections, rather than the magnetism of fame or the bonds forged through facing mortal peril. Meanwhile, Lord Voldemort's plans unfolded quite differently, without the prophecy to guide his actions. His quest for power continued, but it lacked the laser-like focus on eliminating a specific threat. The Dark Lord's frustration grew as he faced unexpected resistance at every turn. The Order of the Phoenix, unburdened by the loss of key members, proved to be a formidable opponent. The wizarding community as a whole thrived in the absence of Voldemort's concentrated terror campaign. Diagon Alley bustled with activity, its colorful shops and eateries free from the shadow of fear that had once loomed over them. At the Ministry of Magic, policies were debated and enacted without the insidious influence of Death Eaters working from within. Hogwarts, too, felt the effects of this changed world. Professor Dumbledore, freed from the burden of protecting the Chosen One, devoted more of his considerable talents to education and magical research. The school halls echoed with the sounds of students learning and growing, unaware of the darker future they had narrowly avoided. Yet even in this brighter timeline, the seeds of conflict remained. Voldemort's ambitions, though thwarted, were not extinguished. His followers, though less emboldened, still whispered in dark corners and plotted in secret. The fundamental ideological divide in the wizarding world, the belief in pure blood supremacy versus equality for all magical beings, continued to simmer beneath the surface. As Harry Potter grew older, he began to notice these undercurrents. His parents, both active members of the Order of the Phoenix, couldn't shield him entirely from the realities of the ongoing struggle against dark forces. Harry's natural curiosity and sense of justice, nurtured by his upbringing, drew him inexorably toward the conflict. The young wizard found himself torn between the safety of his loving home and an increasing desire to make a difference in the world. He listened intently to discussions between his parents and their friends, piecing together the complex political landscape of the wizarding world. Without the pressure of a prophecy, Harry's involvement in the fight against Voldemort became a choice, one that he approached with determination and a sense of purpose that came from within. Snape's decision to keep the prophecy secret rippled through the wizarding world, altering the fates of many. Perhaps no one felt this change more profoundly than Neville Longbottom. Without the shadow of being a potential chosen one, Neville's path took a different turn. His confidence, no longer undermined by the weight of expectation, blossomed early. At Hogwarts, Neville quickly became known for his exceptional skill in herbology, his natural talent flourishing under Professor Sprout's guidance. The absence of constant danger allowed Neville to form deeper friendships, particularly with Harry Potter. The two boys found common ground in their shared love for defense against the dark arts and their desire to make their parents proud. This Neville, unburdened by the trauma of his parents' fate in the original timeline, grew into a strong, capable wizard who would play a crucial role in the events to come. Meanwhile, Snape's relationship with the Potter family underwent a remarkable transformation. Initially, the weight of his unspoken secret created a barrier between them. But as years passed, Snape found himself drawn into the Potter's orbit. Lily, ever perceptive, sensed the change in her old friend. She extended an olive branch, inviting Snape to Harry's 11th birthday celebration. That day marked a turning point. Snape, watching Harry unwrap his first wand, felt a mix of emotions he couldn't quite name. When the boy's eyes, so like Lily's, met his with genuine warmth, something in Snape's hardened heart began to soften. Over time, the bitterness that had defined him for so long began to fade. As Harry grew older, Snape found himself in the unexpected role of mentor. The boy's natural talent for potions, inherited from his mother, gave them common ground. Snape's guidance, tempered by his complex history with the Potters, helped shape Harry into a formidable wizard in his own right. At Hogwarts, the absence of the boy who lived narrative led to subtle but significant changes. Without the celebrity status that once surrounded Harry, the school dynamics shifted. Students formed friendships based on shared interests and values rather than proximity to fame. The house rivalries, while still present, lacked the intense focus that Harry's presence had once fueled. Draco Malfoy, for instance, found his path altered. Without Harry as a clear rival, Draco's attention turned elsewhere. His natural ambition led him to excel in his studies, particularly in charms and transfiguration. While still proud of his pureblood heritage, Draco's interactions with Muggle-born students like Hermione Granger were less antagonistic, shaped more by academic competition than prejudice. The changes extended beyond the students. Albus Dumbledore, freed from the burden of protecting a prophesied savior, devoted more time to magical research and improving the quality of education at Hogwarts. His efforts led to the introduction of new subjects and teaching methods, preparing students for a world where the threat of Voldemort, while still present, didn't dominate every aspect of magical society. However, Snape's choice had an unexpected consequence that would set the stage for the final conflict. Voldemort, frustrated by his inability to gain a foothold in Wizarding Britain, turned his attention to other magical communities. Reports began to surface of dark wizard activity in Eastern Europe and Asia. The Dark Lord, it seemed, was building a network of allies and followers far beyond the borders of Britain. This expansion of Voldemort's influence created a new kind of threat. Instead of a concentrated attack on British wizarding society, the magical world now faced a diffuse, global danger. the Order of the Phoenix found itself stretched thin, trying to track and counter Voldemort's moves across multiple countries. The final confrontation between Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort unfolded in a way few could have predicted. Without the prophecy driving his actions, Voldemort's approach to the conflict was more calculated and less focused on Harry specifically. The Dark Lord had spent years building a network of allies across the globe, amassing power and influence far beyond the borders of Britain. As reports of Voldemort's growing strength reached the Order of the Phoenix, they knew a decisive battle was inevitable. The wizarding world braced itself for a conflict that would determine its future. Harry Potter, now a young man raised by loving parents and free from the burden of being the chosen one, found himself at the center of this brewing storm. His upbringing had instilled in him a strong sense of justice and a desire to protect those he cared about. When the call to action came, Harry stepped forward not because of destiny, but because of choice. The final battle took place not at Hogwarts, but in a remote location in the Scottish Highlands. Voldemort had chosen this site for its magical properties, hoping to harness ancient energies to boost his power. The Order of the Phoenix, led by Dumbledore and bolstered by international allies, arrived to confront the Dark Lord and his followers. As spells began to fly, it quickly became clear that this was no ordinary wizarding duel. The very air crackled with magical energy as both sides unleashed powerful enchantments. Harry found himself fighting alongside his parents, Sirius, and his friends from Hogwarts. Each person's unique skills and experiences came into play, creating a complex web of magical combat. Voldemort, confident in his superior numbers and power, initially held the upper hand. His forces pushed the Order back, their dark magic leaving scorch marks on the ancient stones. But as the battle raged on, the tide began to turn. Harry, drawing on the lessons learned from his parents and mentors, displayed remarkable skill and quick thinking. He used creative combinations of spells, turning the environment itself into a weapon against the Death Eaters. His actions inspired those around him, rallying the Order's forces. In a pivotal moment, Harry found himself face to face with Voldemort. The Dark Lord, seeing the determination in the young wizard's eyes, realized that this was no prophesied hero, but a formidable opponent in his own right. Their duel was intense, magic clashing in brilliant displays of light and power. As they fought, Harry's mind raced through everything he had learned about Voldemort's past and motivations. He understood that the Dark Lord's quest for power stemmed from a deep-seated fear of death and a desire for control. In a moment of clarity, Harry saw a path to victory that didn't rely on raw power alone. "Tom!" Harry called out using Voldemort's birth name. "It doesn't have to end this way. The power you seek has only brought you isolation and fear. There's another way." Voldemort hesitated, caught off guard by Harry's words. In that moment of distraction, the combined forces of the Order launched a coordinated attack. Spells from multiple wands converged on the Dark Lord, overwhelming his defenses. As Voldemort fell, his followers scattered, their loyalty crumbling in the face of defeat. The battle was won, but the cost had been high. Both sides had suffered losses, and the magical landscape bore the scars of the intense conflict. Snape's choice not to reveal the prophecy reshaped the wizarding world in profound ways. The Potters lived, Harry grew up loved, and Voldemort's plans unfolded differently. Without the pressure of being the chosen one, Harry developed a strong sense of justice on his own terms. The final battle, fought not because of destiny but by choice, showcased the combined strength of those who stood against evil. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you want to see next. Until next time, may your potions be potent, your spells be strong, and your adventures through the wizarding world be filled with wonder. Mischief managed.